Welcome to 13, part 2. I was requested, would this week be 26 minutes since 13 was missed last week due to my son's graduation and other events that were happening. Um, Here's the thing, I was not planning on doing this, but I did do a live of 13, and it was kind of based around Memorial Day, what's going on in California, which prefaces so much that's going on. So now is the follow-up, and it might not, we're not going to run the whole 13. I hope. Never know. I don't edit on the 13, and this is what it is. So here we go, guys. If you haven't seen the other piece I did live, I'll link it below, as well as I am again going to ask guys, please, 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 please submit 30-second videos. You take your phone, you show it, record video. My name is blank. I live in blank. Just first name, city or state, either one is fine. And I prefer to be a gig worker because make it state, keep it on the positive, but why you like being an independent contractor or having flexibility is one. You whatever the reason is for you. You know, you have a family member that you need to get to the hospital and whatever the reason is, you need the flexibility or you like this or whatever. We need those videos. Please submit them. The link is in the description below. But today we talked about Proposition 22. So I'm going to just real quickly say its court date finally happened last week. They now have 90 days to decide on it. That's what the takeaway will be when you guys watch that other live 13. Again, it's going to be odd to you that 2 13s were dropped today. But when you watch the other one, realize, and then come watch this one, or if you're watching this one first, but that one talks about what's going on in California and the actual negatives about Prop 22 and the people who wanted Prop 22 and got it to be passed and got the 58% of California voters to pass it now don't like it and they don't want it anymore and they want more. And that's what this always leads to when you have these flat numbers and this, that, and the other. And there are some people who do still appreciate the Prop 22 because let's face it, it is money that comes at the end of a week in the form of a payment that says, you know, your Prop 22 stipend, which is basically what it is. It's just a stipend saying you didn't make the amount. It needs to be 120% of the minimum wage in California, which ranges from $16 to $19.82, depending on where you live in California. 16 can even be parts of LA where you'd think it might be the highest, and 1982 is San Francisco. So at 16, you need to be $20 an hour, and just shy. But in in San Francisco, it's going to be just shy of $24 an hour, is 120% of both those. That is not based on tips. That is based on the offers presented by the platforms. So nobody knew that food delivery was going to get sucked into this, but go watch that one if you want to learn a little bit more about that. What I want to present today is we have Prop 22 being challenged in court over a couple different things. The people who wanted it, the groups that pushed for it, now want more. They want to get rid of it. They've said they need to see that it challenges the California Constitution. That part looks like it's going to get overruled because the voters did vote for it. And at the end of the day, what the voters vote for is what things are. That's how this country works. But there's a lot to be taken away from that other 13. So go check it out. Now we got to talk about what's going on in the country. So we'll get to Minneapolis here last, but the FTC is looking into Uber, Doordash, misleading customers in Seattle and Washington State as junk fees, they call it. They're looking into these junk fees. They want to know why all the prices raised and why they're making more on each order. However, they're not doing nearly as much business. There's not as much business for the drivers. The restaurants around the city are losing millions already to date this year. And their business is way down and the amount of orders. So we're not just hearing it from DoorDash says orders are down or this study said it. We're now finally getting real data that we can live with. The restaurants are saying this city council measure has crushed the delivery economy. It's wrecked it. Get rid of it. So they're trying to get rid of it now, but they're also being looked into by the FTC. Massachusetts, most likely, very, very likely. And first, they're going to start off with rideshare, but food delivery is actually already getting worded into some of the legislation now. So the word union is being used. The word W-2 is being used. So for the rideshare drivers, understand that you guys are this close to being W-2 workers. We already know that won't work. It will fail. And there is no way around that. I mean, no, people aren't going to buy franchises where gig workers are going to be your W-2 workers. No offense, but most of us do these apps because of the freedom and flexibility we get and the fact that we're able to make money on our time and how we prefer as independent contractors. That's why I always talk about this. And that's why losing independent contractorship would be absolutely devastating to this. So the Teamsters and the unions are celebrating already. The governor in Massachusetts used to be the attorney general. She is way behind this. Everybody's behind this. It's looking very bleak outlook to becoming W-2 employees, basically. They're not pushing for this, that, or the other, or negotiations. They're pushing for straight up W-2 work. You will get all the benefits, but you will be an employee. You will work on their schedules, however they want to do this, and it most likely would have to go to franchise models. I've seen all kinds of articles and dove down these rabbit holes, and to be honest, most likely Uber and Lyft will probably either just way downsize what they're doing, or they'll leave. Boston's a big market to lose, but hey, so what else do we got? So we got Seattle's about to be overturned. California's has 90 days now to figure out how that constitutional challenge is going to play out, and if Prop 22 will be overturned. If it is, going to create a whole nightmare, because then all the California gig workers will be under Assembly Bill 5, AB 5, which wrecked every career that had to go up against the ABC test. It does not allow for independent contractorship. So that already destroyed livelihoods of people in the traditional gig economy, independent contractors, self-employed, who have been around for 50 years. So and then we have Massachusetts. Teamsters getting excited there. Florida passed that bill that says that all of the delivery companies need to use in-restaurant pricing and can no longer do anything different, and the restaurants can't make agreements with them either. It has to be the same universal across the platforms and the same in-restaurant, the restaurant prices. But we already know that DoorDash and others will find loopholes to this, and they will end up charging more to the companies or to the restaurants or to the patrons or the customers and taking more from the drivers. They're never going to, this again, it doesn't help. Now, Jersey City in New Jersey is passing the same bill as Florida, the same bill. They're going to make the food items the same price as they are in the restaurant, which sounds great at first glance to somebody who has maybe been getting upset about, hey, I've been noticing these prices getting jacked. It sounds great in the news. We're going to make these apps across the board show you the real price of each menu item on all the platforms the same. That sounds great, but if you don't do these apps, you might not catch on right away. They're going to take it out on the customers, the drivers, and the restaurants all at the same time. So customers, don't get excited. You're not going to be saving money. They're just going to find different ways to have other fees and other things that hurt you. So also, Nevada, the Uber RICO case is now moving along much quicker, and next week we're going to be talking about the Uber RICO case, because I've seen a lot of stuff coming out about it. They are really diving in deep, and RICO is, a lot of you already know, I saw comments. Make sure that you leave your comments on this, or questions or concerns, please. I always answer everything on 13, but also go back and watch the one earlier from today, just in respect to California. So, but RICO's moving forward. That's huge. That's a big problem for Uber, because that's not a state thing. That's a federal level. So RICO implies being able to look in, if they get what they want out of it, they can apply it to every state and dive in with it. And again, this is a little bit different of a story, because they're looking into Uber Eats allowing fake restaurants, which they're also looking, they also have the same implications to DoorDash. So now these companies are going to be looked at for that. But if RICO takes hold with that and they find out, and they already know, but they find out who and where and what, then they can look into every state, which also allows them to crack the books looking into other things. So RICO kind of expands. It's kind of their end to be able to look into everything they want. So we go to Minnesota, and Minnesota has now passed the bill that Uber and Lyft said they'll stay for. A big part of this happens to be, in my opinion, because of the rideshare companies that came to Minnesota, because this is kind of like Austin, but a little different. In Austin, there were 3 rideshare companies there when they passed the bill that, or they kind of kicked Uber and Lyft out. But then it was a year later, or not even, just shy of a year, that they're begging them to come back. Please come back to Austin. The smaller ride shares did worse without the giants in Austin than they did when Uber and Lyft were in Austin. Now they got other ones moving into Minnesota. They're trying a different thing. So they've now agreed upon what is it here? So the agreed upon price, or the amount that will be paid in Minnesota, just so you guys know, nobody's happy with it. The far left city council is not happy at all, and the rideshare isn't happy at all. They made it statewide, but they said at this price they can stay. But they said drivers and passengers expect it. Passengers expect to pay more. Drivers expect less rides. That's what they're saying. So we will see. But it is now a required $1.28 per minute and 31 cents per mile. So that is what it is going to be, the required pay for rideshare drivers in Minnesota, not just the Twin Cities, but the entire state. And with that, I still challenge that putting these kind of amounts, and it's the same thing as Prop 22. A week or two later, you will be paid the difference on every ride. And right now it's only for rideshare, but we will see more added. They're not done. Other states are about to launch other legislation. We're going to be talking about that too. Everything seems to be falling apart in these states. People, please submit your videos on why you want to be an independent contractor, why you prefer being an independent contractor and controlling your own schedule and being self-employed. You can do a video recording on your phone. You can just do an audio recording on your phone and upload it to the link in the description, please. We need these videos. Mike and I are fighting very hard for everybody, and we want to continue to do so. With that said, that's 13 minutes of gig news in just under 13 minutes or less. Peace, y'all.